another benefit, the 24-hour economy thing and the benefits of that, quite good. I mean, we're running now a 24-hour system, so we're looking to tap into some benefits there. Again, a good initiative, which we quite like. What else do we have? Benefit in Ghana, infrastructure is actually quite okay. So like you said, electricity in Ghana isn't as bad as some other countries. So this is a good thing.
I hope you heard that.
Well, it's not as bad. I mean, some countries.
So stop the doomsaw and all those things. Stop crying foul.
But I think there's also a lot that can be innovated around there. So like ECG and Gridco, I think have a lot they could do around making EVs more accessible. You know, here in Ghana, you have one flat price for electricity. Most parts of the world today have pricing that's different every hour.
Oh.
Yeah, and so every hour. So it forces use when prices are low and limits use when prices are high. But today, your tariffs are just a single price across the day. So I think there's innovation that can be done at a, I mean, ECG is government, so you got to regulate the direction somehow through PERC or whatever. But
right.
Yeah.
So this is phenomenal and great. So let me hear you on knowledge transfer. You know, knowledge transfer. It's good to hear that. Yes, these are being done by some Ghanaians in the team and all of that. But of course, when we are done, I'll check whether you are turning into a Ghanaian or you are just. But let me hear you. How is the knowledge transfer framework like with all of these that you are doing? Beautiful things.
Knowledge transfer from where?
Knowledge transfer in terms of how are you building the capacity of, the Ghanaian youth to be able to replicate what you're doing so that we're able to grow faster and spread wider. You know.
Yeah, a lot of it is, we tend to focus our innovation around the customer, to be honest. So like, we look at a rider and we go, what do they have today? They take a petrol bike, they buy it, they finance it. They go to a petrol station, they get fuel pretty quickly, they pay by cash or by Momo. So we innovate around that. Most of it is that kind of innovation. But I guess the technology layer of the knowledge transfer, we lean a lot on China. I mean, China has really commoditized a lot of this tech today. Like an EV, which might have taken you 10 years to innovate 10 years ago, you can probably get a wholly new built EV in less than a year in China today. It's quite crazy. And it's the same with batteries. So there is a lot of learning that we take from suppliers and manufacturers in China to try and learn and innovate around that. But I think, you know, if you look at China, 50 years ago, they're like Africa.
Yeah.
They're not that different.
Yeah.
Not very rich, but the acceleration curve is crazy over there.
Yeah.
And I think Africa has a chance today to learn that way and maybe create the same uplift.
Exactly.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my question, actually. Looking at that, I mean, it will be much more sustainable when you have the locals also learning how the Chinese learned it.
Exactly.
And be able to own it and run with it. You get it? And that's why I'm asking. That because when I came to your end, I saw that you had some national service persons coming there to undergo some kind of training and all of that. So I want to understand, do you have further plans of building the capacity of such young people, and how wide are your doors open for such capacity building in the country to, grow the workforce to be able to implement this on a larger scale?
Yeah, it's quite. I think there's stuff we could do. Like, could we create like almost like a teaching center at our facility? Let young people come in, look at our tech. I think so. We haven't quite gotten there yet, but I mean, we're fully open doors. I've got one of the engineers. I'm going to call you out, Jeremiah, but like, he's
yeah, I remember him.
You remember him, yeah. He's like 25 years old, fully built up here.
Yeah.
But already now there's a lot he could even teach on. So we are open book on all of it. Talent build will continue here. We have no intention of outsourcing anything because there's no need to do it.
Right.
There's not a need to have to do it.
Right.
So,
I will encourage you. I will talk to
yeah,
Jeremiah.
please,
So we start some kind of boot camp, you know,
Exactly.
where young people on vacation could come around and also, I mean, try their hands on some of these things so that once you're able to tackle their interest, going forward, you see them doing wonderful things, and then we can take it up there. So thank you so much, Eric. I think that's a brilliant point you've just made. So I'll come back to you, Rono. I also want to speak Rono. A young man wants to speak Rono. He wants to really, buy into what you stand for. And I'm happy you mentioned quickly that you haven't rolled out your finance scheme yet. Let me hear you. What are the regulations and bottlenecks and barriers that are impeding your speed?
I don't think I'll finish today if I talk about.
Let's get started.
I think that in every environment you have to try and make do with the best that you have. There are, as an automobile company, there's a lot of restrictions that hinder us. Finance, access to finance, for instance. Being a Ghanaian company, we don't have the kind of finance that our competitors have. That's why we've done primarily with big businesses because even though the payment doesn't come as quickly as we'd like, at least we're assured of payment at the end of the day. Apart from that, I think that the Ghanaian market itself, I think we're now transitioning into, we do only new vehicles. I mean, there's a big used car market out there, but fortunately for Rono Motors, we've transitioned from that into supplying just new vehicles. And that has challenges in itself because it's not a lot of individual Ghanaians who can afford to buy new vehicles. It's only institutions and government. So we have no choice but to deal with them. And with the kind of problems that the government itself faces concerning finances, it kind of trickles down to us because then getting paid for work that you have done sometimes becomes very, very cumbersome. In fact, it can actually be crippling, but we have to find ways of getting beyond that. But I think in every business that you get into, you have to have an end game, and our end game, being in the automobile business, is to be able to produce in Ghana by Ghanaians a Rono Motors vehicle. Chinese people have been able to do that. Now, how did they do that? They said, if you want to sell Mercedes in China, come and establish a factory, not an assembly plant, a factory. If you want to sell any vehicle, come and establish a factory in China. That is where their learning curve came from, because they learned how to manufacture those vehicles, and then they added the Chineseness to it, which was the technology. So if we wanted to do the same in Ghana, I mean, look at the sun that is going to waste. I think it's a shame that, with all this solar, we're still relying on energy from the grid. We must have some sort of policy that says that every building in Ghana must have solar. Right. You can imagine how much that would take off the grid to be left to do more important things. Okay, so I think that what we can do, what we are planning to do at Rono, is that within the next maybe 5 years or something, we'll have a vehicle that can compete with any vehicle. And we are going to try and get the best brains here. And, we're thinking of doing solar at our new plant as well, so that we can get off the grid to a large extent, because we think that it's criminal that with all the sunshine, I mean, even countries that don't have the kind of sun that we have use more solar than we do here. So if you want to use an EV, then go solar. That means that you're getting your energy for free, literally. Okay, so that's our end game, and I think we'll be looking to recruiting the sharpest minds, young talent, to come and help us to achieve this vision sooner rather than later. And hopefully within the time frame that we're talking about, we can bring a rocks made in Ghana, literally made in Ghana, not assembled in Ghana, but made in Ghana. That's our plan.
Fantastic. So now I want to look at how is your company looking at addressing the issue out there where people see the rocks and think that I've asked you before, but I would want, because some guys are here and they're winking at me, to ask that question again so that they hear it from you and not from me. So, I mean, how are you looking at demystifying that suspicion out there that the rocks and the type are for bourgeois? How are you addressing that? Looking at making something for the low-income earners in the country?
Well, yes, China has got a whole range of vehicles, from the smallest to the biggest. For what they are, they're very, very good value for money. I mean, I think the Europeans and the Americans and the rest are scared of the Chinese vehicles actually entering their markets, so they're putting up barriers and things because they didn't want them to get there. We have been to China. We actually chose rocks because when we went to the facility, they showed us the car, everything that was with it. We decided that we want to represent them here. So we are actually the agents for Rocks 01 in Ghana and West Africa. There are other vehicles that we have gone to see that we think fit different sectors of the market. So we have vehicles for young people, we have vehicles for workers. We'll have all these vehicles in our showroom in the very shortest possible time. So price-wise, I mean, you look at the rocks, yes, it's on a par with the Range Rover, but it costs much, much, much cheaper. It's much cheaper than what people think that it is for what it is. I mean, I can't go into prices now. My team will kill me. But it's very, very affordable. Very, very affordable.
Right, right. So don't get scared. Don't look at the size of the car and the beauty of the car and jump to hasty conclusions. Dare to get closer and ask. And I'm sure you know that, I mean, it's affordable. And I'll be happy to be on the same platform, possibly at a launch and the outdooring of the finance scheme, because it's something I'm sure everybody will be waiting for.
And you know, the cost of the car is just one-off. It's the running cost that's important.
Right.
So once you've bought the car, how you're going to fuel it, and you know, the thing about electric vehicles is that there are less moving parts than the ICE vehicles, internal combustion, so you don't change your brakes as often. You don't have to be changing your oil. There's so many things that make running an EV or a hybrid much, much cheaper. So once you've bought it, now you have to run it, and that's where the real trouble is, because people will go and buy high-end cars that they can hardly afford to maintain and to run. But with this one, it's your everyday ride, because the maintenance costs are much, much cheaper.
Right. So that's the point, and I think I'm happy you just mentioned it, because most people think that, oh, I'll go for the home use cars. I'm not condemning anybody's home use car, because I have one. So the tier rubber one is much more economical and makes more economic sense. Most especially the hybrid versions and the EV batteries, and now the EV Uber cars that are coming up are much more economical. So look in that direction and you'll be making a lot of savings. I think that now I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to turn all of you into a minister in charge of transport for just 10 minutes. So wait for your turn. That's a very smart move.
Wow. Ladies first is not benefiting
now
today.
Uber, you are the minister for transport for just 10 minutes. And after that, I'll take it off. Now, what policy would you want to immediately want to see being, rolled out or being, put to force? What policy would you propose to help your industry players, including Uber?
When you say my industry players, including Uber, can I be biased?
Yes, you can.
And just focus on us. I think we have spoken about, and the theme for this whole fair
Yes.
is about innovation moving forward. For a very long time, we have been hearing about Okada and two-wheelers. We have this in Kenya.
No.
We have it in Rwanda.
I want to hear
We
you.
have this in all these other countries. Why? Because is like you said, myself. A few weeks ago, I needed to get from A to B. And I looked and I saw the traffic. I said to this guy, come, how much? And I jumped on the Okada and I went because I had an important meeting.
Okada for Muti.
Right? So if we're talking about something that I would want to change, and I'm being completely biased, please.
Legalize Okada.
Let's do it, and let's do it well. Let's make sure we do it safely.
Yeah.
It's very important for us in other geographies. We've been doing two-wheelers. We have so much experience. We know what works, what doesn't work. Helmets are mandatory. Let's mandate for that, and let's get this thing going. Because Dirty December is coming. Some of us, we might flee, but for those who are here, I'm sure you want to be able to get from point A to point B with some speed and safely. So if the legislation where Okada is concerned comes into force, if we legislate so that it's done safely, so that it is also enforced. Because one thing we always look at internally is, okay, it's one thing to have this law passed. It benefits us. We pat ourselves on the back. Yay, fantastic. But actually, is it going to be enforced? The Ghana Medical Association, of course, has reservations because they're looking at this from the number of amputees and so on. But guess what? If it's legislated and it's legislated for properly, if the right safety controls are put in place, if we enforce those safety controls, I'm telling you, we have a completely new mode of transport which is really going to combat the problems we have with traffic in this country. We've seen it work in Brazil. It's phenomenal. That was a market that had no motor. Now go and see Brazil. Understandably, the roads are different. Let's bring it closer to home then. India, same thing. Kenya, same thing. So we've seen these work in markets very similar to ours. And I think it can work in Ghana. If I were minister today, that is the one piece of legislation that I would be focusing on.
Put your hands together for Honorable Uba. Honorable Jada, Minister for Transport for 10 minutes. Now I come to you, Honorable Eric. Let me hear you, Minister for Transport for 10 minutes.
I was trying to rack my brain while she was talking. I think one thing I would do is to ensure 100% of all vehicle sales are electric by X date. So let's put a number out there. Let's say 2030, which is not far off, 5 years. Well, let's give Ghana a bit more time. Let's say 2040. All new vehicle sales are all electric across vehicles, motorcycles by 2040, and it's a regulation. So you cannot sell ICE by 2040 in the country, new cars or new bikes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. And you start from the ministry.
The ministry is going to set the tone, set the rules, yeah. I think another thing I was trying to think through on traffic, I don't know what to do, but I got to do something about the chochos.
Right.
Something has to happen. Chochos stop, so we put across the country to make them safer, simpler. Some regulations around chocho, definitely.
Right.
I know they're necessary, but
I'm sure you go to the Kaneshi ones.
I will not go there. So yeah, there's probably two. I think in line with the first one, I think that does need then an acceleration of the adoption. So I would cut duties at the port, maybe 0%. How about that for 5 years? No duties on EVs that are imported, no duties on batteries that support EVs for 5 years. 0.
Wow. For the importation bit, don't you think, the GDP is going to be affected because, these are not manufactured right here in the country.
I think you're right.
So, Honorable Minister,
yes.
Look at that.
It would be hurt for a period,
okay.
but I think there needs to be a risk taken to come out strong the other end.
Okay.
And if we're trying to get, like Africa could become, let's say, an EV manufacturing hubspot, you got to have a path to get there.
So would you give the 0% to the manufacturers and then put a percentage, Honorable Minister, on the importation?
I think it's probably right that the people who do, you got to start with assembly,
right,
at least, but
right,
definitely, like assembly and manufacturing for sure. If they do it on the ground, that should be 0%, definitely.
Fantastic,
Yeah.
fantastic. A round of applause for my Honorable Minister, Eric. Honorable James, you are the Minister for Transport. For 10 minutes, let me hear you, your topmost priority in terms of policy and regulations.
Thank you. If I was Minister for Transport...
In fact, you are.
Okay. I am the Minister for Transport, and I am going to be deliberately Ghanaian. I want to build a Ghanaian company or Ghanaian this thing that can compete with the best, so I will favor Ghanaians. I will try and build them up, enable them, because all the people they're competing with were helped by their governments. Most of the big companies that we're talking about now, your Toyotas, your Hyundais, they were all helped deliberately by their governments and were put up in the position that they were. So I would build a Ghanaian Toyota. I would favor a Ghanaian. I would make a Ghanaian become as big as any of these other companies, because you need to have deliberate policy to be able to create the kind of companies, the kind of industries that can compete on the world stage. If we keep favoring other people's companies, other countries' businesses, all we're doing is that we're just giving them jobs and then we're creating less jobs here. So I would have a deliberate policy to make Renault Motors into a Toyota. Why not? You understand? So I think that it has to be a deliberate policy by government that we have to build Ghanaian institutions, we have to build Ghanaian brands, we have to make them as powerful as any brand that can be competing out there with anybody else. So that would be my policy.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister for Transport. I scared the ministry staff. When they heard me call you the Honorable Minister for Transport, their eyes are like, wow. Great. So, it's very true that we try to look at that. Because I overheard a conversation regarding people who tried, like the Kantankas and those who made that attempt. And they are compelled to, do some documentation that looks as if they actually imported the cars before they are able to sell the cars for licensing. And it presupposes that, we are living a lie, because these cars were actually manufactured right here. And then you have, for documentation's sake, you have to pretend as though it was imported just so it will fit the standard that we've set. And I think it's one area we need to look at and then ensure that we try to do policies that allow that enabling environment for manufacturing in Ghana, so that we can have a Renault Ghana manufactured car, not just assembled here in Ghana. We've had a wonderful time here, but we're just about wrapping up. And I would want to come to you. Now, I've taken my honorable title off you. Back to Uba Jeda. Now, tell me, as we wrap up, what one bold step should we expect from Uber going forward to shipping the transport sector in the country?
I think expansion.
Expansion.
I think expansion for us. The reason why I say that is because there's a lot of focus on Accra, necessarily so. We understand why. It's the hub. We're close to Tema, the port. There's a lot of activity in the south. I think there is great opportunity for job creation, for improving mobility, for promoting safe transportation in the rest of the country. And I mean, as we go up north from, sort of central, and by that I mean Kumasi, if you're looking at the map sort of vertically, and beyond to the north, where you spoke about the number of bikes, for example, there's more work that can be done. So for us, I think the focus will be on, okay, how do we take this out of Accra, which is very metropolitan, very exposed for the most part. A lot of users are familiar with these apps from outside, but there's a lot it could do for some rural areas. I appreciate, there's a business case to be made, but I think expansion is something that we really will be looking at, because that's something that doesn't necessarily just benefit us, but it's for the benefit of the country.
Great. Expansion. And I think expansion is not limited to only your, transport, but to the courier, to all the other facets of your operations. Expansion. We should be expecting that. Thank you so much. Now, Eric, what bold step should we expect from Kofa?
We're quite a young business, so it also speaks to expansion. Our main focus at the moment is trying to reach more customers. But I guess the real impact here is that we deliver cleaner energy that is not emitting fumes into the urban environments of Ghana. And we are taking steps to get into Kumasi at the moment, so our infrastructure is already there. So, getting across to more cities in Ghana is important for us as well. But, at the moment, the technology is proven, so we are just trying to get it into the hands of more people. It's really our big goal. Yeah.
So, to you, you're looking at expansion also?
It's definitely expansion.
Scale up?
As massive as we can get.
Phenomenal. Yeah. All right. Then I go to Sir James. Please, what bold step should we expect from Rono going forward?
Well, like I said, we'll be opening showrooms and service center, and we're introducing something that is totally unique in Ghana, probably West Africa. We're going to be doing a whole floor as a spare parts mall. So we'll be bringing in genuine spare parts at very, very affordable prices for all the vehicles that we supply and beyond. And we'll be introducing ourselves properly to the general public because, like I said, so far we've just been dealing with institutions to a large extent, but now we're going nuclear. We're going to the general public, and then we'll be offering, buying a vehicle is not just about buying something that is nice, but it's about buying something that is useful to you, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's a tool. So you will have knowledgeable staff who will listen to you, talk to you, and recommend the best vehicles for you. So you're going to be getting an automobile experience that you haven't experienced yet, because we are very, very customer focused. And at the end of the day, once we have one satisfied customer, I think, they can spread the word, and then we'll be getting more. So we depend on word of mouth as much as advertising. So you'll be hearing a lot from Rono in the very near future.
Fantastic. Great. So I'm going to take your final words, and this time I'll start from you and end with Jada. I would want you to tell me, when you first heard about this fair and the sessions and all the packages, what was your impression, and what's your impression now, and your final words?
Well, to be honest, I thought it was about time something like this was set up. To have the right showcase, to explain yourself, to work with people with you in the industry, to understand the whole system. I thought it was a very good initiative, and this is the first time that we have actually sponsored anything like this, and we thought the idea was so good that we became platinum sponsors.
Yes, I want to deepen that. For your information, Rono is a platinum sponsor of this show, and it deserves a round of applause, please. A round of applause. Oh, this one is no good.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're so proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And it just shows that, we believe in this, and we think it's the right platform. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I go to you, Eric. And Eric is also, a great supporter of this event. And they deserve a round of applause as well.
we're young. We can't do what Ronald does yet.
I know. You can't
But
compete
one
with
day
Ronald,
we'll be
but
platinum. One day.
one day when
one
you
day
grow.
we'll get there.
Yes,
yeah.
I know. Now tell me, Eric.
Yeah.
I mean, we came to your shop,
Yeah.
and I mean, you were one of the few privileged ones that we had a minister, the deputy minister, visit your
Yeah.
showroom. And tell me, what has been your impression so far, and what are your final words, and what would you tell us?
Quite a few. So this is, I think, really good. It's great to see the government kind of pushing down to try and learn and engage with businesses and individuals, and I think it spurs really good conversations. I'm enjoying this. I think it's really good. I think the team at large was wonderful. This thing started 9:15 on the dot.
Yes.
Like this is brilliant stuff. So very exciting to be here. I think these conversations are good. I hope they continue.
Right.
And then one day I'm a platinum sponsor.
Thank you very
yeah,
much, Eric.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Now I come to you, Jada. Uber.
So, I think for me,
This one must go into the mic directly.
I'm sorry.
Thank
So,
you. And by the way, Uber is also our proud, sponsor. I think the gold category or something like that. And they also deserve a round of applause. Yes, they've done very well, and we're so proud of you.
Thank you. I think one thing I said before is we're always supportive of government. We always try to collaborate, to work together. Head of policy there helped drive, the ride-hailing regulation. So when we saw something like this, I think there was a lot of excitement, right? That finally government is actively engaging with the private sector as well. I see the government agencies here, but with the private sector coming together to have the conversations, as Eric said. And for me, it's seeing sort of the chain, cradle to grave. It's important, if innovation is going to progress, for us to have conversations where, okay, we have a platform. Oh, you have bikes and batteries and charging stations. The only way this works is if the ecosystem is in sync. And I think something like this is a wonderful way to bring all the players together so those conversations can be started with a view to improving transport across the country, and also bringing this to the attention of other ministries. We've spoken about energy. Hopefully they see this, they get on board. Ports and harbour, it's important for all these stakeholders to have a central place to have a conversation. And this is what this event has enabled. So we're very grateful.
Fantastic. And thank you once again. I think, it couldn't be much better, because this has been a wonderful showdown of a meeting between innovation and mission. And the discussion has actually focused and centered on the wonderful contributions that these agencies are making and how they are actually overlapping and intertwining in various aspects of their operations. And I would like to thank our great sponsors once again, our platinum sponsors, Rono Motors and Ghana Link and Gapoha. And then we have also our gold sponsors, Zonda, and then we also have Uber. We have so many other sponsors and partners that also came on board to support us. The GMA also was very gracious to support this whole effort. This couldn't have been possible without your huge support. So I would like to thank you all. And let me once again say that we would want to encourage partnership. The SDGs, the SDG 17, that talks about partnership. And this is what we are promoting. And I would like to also thank His Excellency, the President, for bringing and reawakening and opening the Pandora's box for us to talk about resetting. The resetting agenda is something that is getting all of us thinking again, rethinking the industries and the sectors. And the Minister for Transport bought into this concept that, yes, he would want to engage with all of you to hear at first hand what needs to be done to correct the archaic and old regulations that is crippling this nation from moving forward. So we're going to have more of such discussions, but for now, I would want you to help me thank my great brains here in the person of Sir James, as I call you, and Honorable Eric from Kofa, Sir James from Rono Motors, and then my Honorable Jada from Uber. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. We are so grateful, and thank you, wonderful people, for listening. Now, I would want to open the floor for few questions, just about 5, or contributions from you, so that in case you have any question I didn't ask, I was looking in your direction for you to wink at me and give me the clues and all of that. So I would open the floor for just about 5 questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Yes, I have 1, and then you are number 2, and then I have 2 people. So number 1 is at the far end, just so we are not biased. Number 1, please move forward. Move forward. Move to the. Yeah, move this way. Yeah, great.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Jerry. Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. So my question is more of health concerns. I understand we are trying to expand transport and logistical activities in the country, which would expand reaches in Accra itself or Ghana as a whole, and then bring employment or whatnot. But what about health concerns in terms of infrastructure and the emissions and lithium radiation and all that? Is the ministry also factoring those kind of concerns into place, not just expanding the
health concerns?
Yes, because of specific health concerns. Like, for example, if you take EVs, you're talking about lithium radiation and stuff from the cars. If you talk about factories, you're talking about from pollution from gases and carbon monoxide.
And if you talk about
petrol cars, carbon monoxide.
petrol.
So yeah, are there any laws in place or any activities or stuff going on also with the brands that are coming? Do you put tax on them? Do you charge them per vehicle? Do you enlighten them in any way? Or you see, if you take the EU, the reason I'm asking the question is, if you take the European Union, for example, you're not allowed to bring just anything into the country.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. Do we also have that kind of backing and stand firm, though we want them to be here and expand our reach? Do we also
Yes, the reason why I'm trying to, understand your question is that this topic here is the innovation that they are putting out. Wait. The topic is on innovation, meeting mission. Okay? And it's a showdown of their brilliant ideas. And there's no health expert on my panel. Okay? And so this dovetails directly to health policy and environmental protection agency. And I don't have any of those experts here. And so I wanted you to situate your question well so that it can aid a good response from them. So they've heard you. We'll ask them to respond appropriately. Okay? I will have them respond to that. Yes, I'll come to you, Prof. Yes, let me take the second question and then we'll come to you for the responses.
My name is Terry. Thank you for the opportunity. And then first and foremost, I would like to thank everyone here. And then I'm very glad to have the opportunity to listen to what you just said. But I have a question with regards to the motors, that is the electric vehicles. I stand to be corrected though, but I heard if you want to change, you go to their stores and then you change the batteries. So let's say I want to move from here to Navrongo. And then during the conversation, I heard you are now even trying to establish yourself in Kumasi, which means that there is a likelihood that you don't have stores or places close to Navrongo. And then it says the car can take me 5 kilometers, of which I know from here to Navrongo is more than 5 kilometers. What then do I do? Does it mean that my vehicle now becomes, I'm not using the word liability, but it has become a liability with respect to me moving from here to Navrongo. I don't know, it is.
Right.
Yeah, because of the battery system.
Right.
That is my first question. And the second one.
You have another question. And you let's do one by one, I bet you.
Sure.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Business. So these two questions are very heavy and pregnant. These two. Let's get responses quickly, and I'll come to you, Prof, please. And then there's another hand over there. So bring it up. No, walk straight here. Thank you.
I can't see the young man who asked the question.
Yes, the young man who asked the question.
Is he still around? Hello.
Yes, he's right there.
Okay,
yes.
so I can't speak to health policy specifically, but I can speak broadly about the fact that, for example, our regulator that we've worked with, I assure you, they're not letting just anything into the country. I say this because they use local standards in addition to European standards. And so before anything gets put on the road here, the regulator will speak to the Ghana Standards Board. The homologation process has to fit a certain criteria, has to meet those standards, and then they decide whether it's good enough for it to be on Ghanaian roads. And the answer isn't always yes. There have been instances where the answer is indeed no. We don't want this on the roads in Ghana because it's not healthy, it's not safe for our citizens. So having had that experience, I can speak to the fact that certainly the ministry and the regulator are very alive to these issues, and they will not permit just anything on the roads for Ghanaian citizens.
Yeah, and I think to add to that health and safety point, even for batteries, there are very clear requirements for importing batteries into the country. And so Ghana Standards Board has that. And it is a mix of what you would see in Europe or what is local to Ghana. I guess maybe it's harder to implement what you have on the ground already operationally, but definitely at point of entry, they have rules and regs on this. You also have on batteries the EPA here. So the EPA, they have facilities where they can even take and disintegrate batteries that shouldn't be in the system anymore. So there are steps already there to try and help govern health and safety. A lot of things are about operational execution, and so maybe I can be the transport minister again, but there are probably things you can do on the ground to help make it even better, but the stepping stones are definitely there. I think on the second question around the range in the batteries, you are right that at the moment, the way we've built a network is to service riders that do their business in Accra. And it will step by step take time for us to widen that network out slowly, so that eventually, I don't know the name of the town, I don't want to bastardize the word, but eventually you can get there without a problem. But it is work, and even like working with delivery platforms that can ring fence areas on EVs could be another way to do it. So I think there are steps that could be taken to make this EV adoption better for a user, not to have to worry about that far-reaching range. But it'll take time.
Right. Thank you very much. So let's do Prof. Then we come to you. Come closer, please. You can come closer, please. Let's do Prof. Yeah. Come closer.
Good morning. My name is Patricia Mauli, but my question is directly to Jade. I know for your Uber services, do you have any sort of or form of education for your drivers concerning map reading, how to communicate? And I know the roads are a bit juggly and not all that good. And do you have a scheme in place to work with the transport system to try and improve the condition of some of the roads, and not necessarily just waiting for election times when we put a little splash of tarmac in areas just to try and win votes from the local people? And that sort of education you give to your drivers, is it something that is affordable and accessible to them all?
Thank you. Yes, please, gentlemen, get closer. Get closer so you are climb up so that you are captured, please.
Okay. My name is Listowell from Oscan Consults. My question goes to both the manufacturers of cars and platforms like Uber and Bolt and others. The world is evolving. So in this case, as things evolve, this called self-driving cars. If it is fully activated, maybe either next year or next 2 years, what will happen to a lot of youths who are kind of working, using these Ubers to work, to earn their living, if self-driving cars become fully active in Ghana or in Africa? Because I learned in other developed countries, it is self-driving cars are very active there. So what happens to the drivers of this? Will they be laid off or kind of?
Yeah,
So that's my question.
the workforce. Okay,
Yes,
well
yes.
noted. Please, is there any, or you have, let's take the third one because these two are quite straightforward and quite handy. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you come forward. Yeah, let me hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Chamisun Jagri Amos. I'm a logistics and transport student. I have a question.
From which school?
Accra Technical University.
Okay, wonderful.
So I have a question concerning the SDG 17. Right. So I want to ask, what are some of the initiatives that can be implemented to ensure or promote sustainable practices in Ghana, since the SDG 17 aim at achieving sustainable or green environment as or somewhere 2030. So some of the initiatives I want to know. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Then the fourth question, that one I brought myself with the SDG 17.
So good morning. I'm Kwashi Emmanuel Atiapa from the University of Mines and Technology, also offering logistics and transport management.
Right.
So my question is, what innovation solutions are being developed to address the unique logistics challenges in Ghana? Thank you. What innovative solutions are being developed to address the unique logistics challenges in Ghana?
All right. Great. So where do we start from? Uber had the larger chunk of it. So Uber. The training from Prof.
So first the training.
Yes, and the workforce.
The answer is yes. We do provide training to our drivers. It is accessible because it is free. We send comms out. What we don't do is mandate. And so it's up to the drivers in a lot of instances to take up that training. As you would, for example, if it's offered, it's up to you, because Uber drivers, you're your own business. It's up to you if you want to be a better business person to educate yourself. So we offer the training, but it's up to the drivers to take up the training. Most of them, to be fair, do. But I have to stress on the voluntary nature of it, because of course there will be those who don't. And if you come across those, you will know that those are not the ones who are undertaking the training. But we do provide training in response to your question. What was the other
The workforce with
question?
The introduction of self-drive cars. Yeah.
Right, so yes, autonomous vehicles are now a thing, and they are a thing on our platform in a lot of other geographies. Autonomous vehicles is not something that I can say we are having conversations about for this particular geography. It is going to be a concern, but it really is so far off. Right now, my concern is actually getting more drivers onto the platform. And I suspect that is going to be what keeps me up at night for at least another decade here. So without swerving the question, I can say where this particular geography is concerned, this is not an immediate concern. I can't see the person who asked the question. This is not an immediate concern.
Right there, he can hear you.
And there are going to be more opportunities as our product mix develops, as expansion happens, for drivers in Ghana to work on the Uber platform. Right. Was there another Uber-related question? I don't think so.
Yeah. I will tackle yours, okay?
Yes, about the autonomous vehicles, I think we're nowhere near the infrastructure to do that sort of thing. It is no threat to us in the very near foreseeable future. And I think about the standards as well, the health. But you know, when agencies are doing their work well, you don't hear anything. It's only when things go wrong that you hear something. So when you haven't heard anything, that means that they're probably on their ball and they're doing their game and they're taking care of us. So we don't need to worry about it. So I believe that is what is happening in this sector.
Great. So yes, that is it. And the point is that, I mean, when computer was being introduced at some point in time, you know, we had the typewriters and all of that, and they were also crying that, I mean, they are going to be out of business. What it means, therefore, is that you just need to upgrade yourself to get yourself. So we take it one day at a time. We've not gotten there. Even those who started test driving it, they haven't gotten to the large scale, let alone to have that, transferred down. So let's take our time and let's make haste slowly. When we come to the SDG 17, it talks largely about partnership, and partnership cutting across all the spheres of the SDGs and the sectors. Now, you look at transport, and transport run on roads, and therefore there should be some kind of synergy between the transport and the roads. We are here talking about EV cars, and EV is purely an energy thing. You understand? So the collaboration between the energy sector, the transport, and the road, there's some kind of connectivity between these players. And so one person cannot do it all. We need partnership. If we want to achieve all the sustainable development, the SDGs, we need partnership. And to me, it is the bedrock, because my brother asked about health, which is SDG 3. And SDG 3 is not at the table of discussion, but there's a concern within that. So the interoperability between the sectors is the bedrock of we getting there. And so one person cannot do it all. And the SDGs, I don't see it like we will finish it anytime too soon. The 2030 is more or less like a yardstick we've given ourselves, and COVID took a large chunk of what we needed to do. There was no financing policy to guide the implementation of all the SDGs, and so, we were supposed to localize in the context of the countries. And so we are going to live with it for a very long time. And to me, it's something that I would want to encourage us all to understand and appreciate. And so I appreciate you for bringing it up. It's something that you need to do more, to read more, and to get involved more and see how we'll be able to get there. Once again, I would want to help me to thank my wonderful, wonderful, panelists who have done justice, more than justice, to the topic under discussion. Innovation meets mission. And you've indeed shared your mission, and you've discussed the scalability of your mission with us. And we can't wait to see the ministerial appointment that I bestowed on you today come to fruition one day. So thank you all so much for being wonderful audience and bringing your views on board and the questions you asked. There is more to come, and we're going to have our panelists also do more justice to the topics that are outlined for all of us. Once again, help me appreciate my proud sponsors, the platinum sponsor, Rono Motors. We are so grateful to you. Gapoha, we are very grateful to you. And to our gold sponsors, Ghana Link, we are grateful to you for being a platinum sponsor. Gold sponsors, Zonda Tech, Ghana Tech, we are so grateful to you. And to GMA, we are grateful to you. To all other players, we are very, very grateful to all of you for your contribution. Uber, we are very grateful to you for being our wonderful sponsor. We are grateful to you, audience. Without you, we won't have any show. So thank you all for coming, and this brings us to the end of the first session. Thank you, and God bless us all. Yeah, let's take a photograph together.
is the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, share, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, share, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future.
All right. So thank you
Hooray,
once again.
Ghana.
Thank you so much. So the next session is actually starting now, and it's happening in the room upstairs, seminar room 1, which is directly up there. And the panelists are already there, and I will encourage you to join them up there, right up, when you climb up the very first room on your right. The topic is Building the Human Capital for Ghana's Aviation Renaissance. Building the Human Capital for Ghana's Aviation Renaissance. And in the afternoon, we're going to have Smart Ports, Smart Trade, the ICOM's evolution, and Women and the Future of Transport, Equality in the Air and Water and Land. So we have series of topics planned for all of us to learn from. That said, we also are going to have a wonderful cruising time. We're going to have a wonderful cruising time. Just if you are interested in cruising on the ship, please register to secure your band, and the bus will be taking off any moment from now. We'll be heading out in the next couple of minutes to the Eastern Naval Command, where we will be on board the ship that is going to take us on the tour today. We'll be leaving here latest 12 o'clock. The bus takes off. So please register with any of the ushers you see in black or any of the gentlemen in digital eye. Approach them and they'll register you and give you the band so that you join the bus. Without the band, you can't board the bus. So please secure your band so that we can head out in the next few minutes. Thank you so much. Any of the digital eye T-shirt persons can assist you. You can approach any of the ushers too, they can assist you so that you get registered. Please.
Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana. From 22nd to 24th October 2025, the World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future.
All right, good morning. Thank you all for coming and thank you for participating in the panel discussion. As part of our experiential activities for the event, we have a ship cruise we'll be having. It will be taking off at 1 p.m. If you want to register to be a part of the ship cruise, kindly head out to the entrance. If you're coming in, you look on the left, the far left. There are two beautiful ladies sitting at the table. Go give them your name, register, so you can join us at 1 p.m. for the ship cruise. Thank you very much.
logistic giants and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalrigh.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and
in the meantime,
helicopter ride. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with
panel discussion happening on the first floor. So if you want to be a part of that panel discussion, you can kindly go and join. It's up on the first floor.
Or visit our website
at the same time, there are car exhibitions going on outside.
The Ghana Transport and Logistics
on the first floor as well. So please
Beyond movement,
feel at liberty to pass by, visit some of the booths, see the cars, whilst you register for the ship cruise. Thank you.
Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalrigh.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalrigh.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalrigh.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics, and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics, and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics, and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of Transport and its agencies invite you to the Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. It's the first of its kind in Ghana from 22nd to 24th October 2025. The World Trade Center Accra comes alive with car, ship, train, logistics, and plane dealers all in one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The Ghana Transport and Logistics Fair 2025. Beyond movement, resetting Ghana's transport future. Hooray, Ghana! The Ministry of one place. Are you a modern car dealer? Do you sell electric vehicles? Then this fair is your platform to shine. Students and the general public will experience free electric car test drives, thrilling maritime showcases, and even free helicopter rides. All 15 agencies under the Ministry of Transport, plus global car dealers, airlines, logistic giants, and investors will be there with His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as our guest of honor. Register now at info.digitalIGH.org 0244-613-246 or visit our website www.transportlogfair.org. The
of skills investment. Meanwhile, their forecast also says that in terms of passenger growth, it's going to double. Freight is going to double. So if you are going to have that, it means that a lot more skilled personnel are required to fit in there, because otherwise, Madam Alisa is sitting down here, but she cannot carry the job load as aircraft controller. If she has over 1,000 aircraft in her airspace, it's going to be difficult. It means that she will need a lot more people to join her to perform that job. But then we need that kind of skills people. How can we get them? So even industry and academia are able to collaborate to ensure that they standardize the courses that are run over there in order that we can be able to churn out the skill professional. Look, for pilots alone, their forecast, and if you read what we refer to as ICAO document 956, it talks about the 20-year forecast for global and regional. And it says that for pilots alone, you're going to have a shortage of about, let's say, 306,000. Even it highlights for Asia Pacific, and if Asia Pacific, China, Singapore, India, all those people are referred to as those within the Asian regions. And it does not mean that all these 306,000 people will be coming from that region. Pilots, you need your license and you become international, so you can work with any airline at all. It talks about air traffic control that globally per day you have to train 30 air traffic controllers. For a day, he says that between now and 2036, you require about 49,000 air traffic controllers to fit in there. Where are all these people going to come from? People, young ones these days do not have interest in aviation because of probably the computers, the AI, a lot of things that they are playing with. They are not ready for a lot of long things. What they need is anything that they can just see, like the Chinese now say that 1,000 words is represented by one symbol. So when you put one symbol there, that should be okay for them. So we will come to that one where we can be able to see there ought to be some kind of transformation. And then what about the engineers? They project that there will be 1.9 billion shortage between now and 2036. So if you are not thinking about a career in aviation, please, my engineer assistants and brothers here, I encourage you to start taking grades. Redefine your school and come into the sector because there will be job availability for you. I know that Ghana here there's a little bit of problem, but we can work on it to ensure that we have a booming industry. The industry is booming here. There will be a lot more vacancies that you cannot fill. So please, don't be shy, get into the industry, learn, acquire the skills, and then you would final development. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Apiaje, for that insight. Madam Alisa, same on the skills gap. ATC, very complex. What are the skills gap? First experience so far.
Thank you very much. I think Mr. Apiaje has made my work very easy for me because it's the same concepts that apply when it comes to air traffic control. And it's about partnering with these academic institutions to develop courses which align with the industry needs. And so by the time somebody completes their training at the university, they come on board to work in the organization, they already have skills which align and the knowledge which aligns with the profession which they are joining. Okay. And as Mr. Apiaje mentioned earlier on, no matter how much training has been done initially at the institutions, because it's a professional career, no matter what level you attain, when you come in, you will definitely have to start from scratch to be trained. However, because the skills, the training that you received in these institutions was aligned, you generally have knowledge, and so it's not, we are not starting very basic training, we are starting at a level. And that would also presuppose that the interest, the passion was already generated through the awareness training that you got. And so aligning with institutions, with organizations in the aviation industry is very, very key. I think that the statistics that he mentioned are very, very alarming in terms of the proposed or projected skill deficiencies that we are going to see in this industry. And it's good that we are having this discussion now because we want to ensure that we have well-developed and knowledgeable, okay, future-ready personnel who are ready for the transformation that is coming in the future in the aviation industry. It means that we need to act now, okay? And how do we do that? By talking about some of these strategies, by thinking innovatively, all right, and by displaying excellence, and by encouraging the youth to let them know that yes, before aviation used to be very limited opportunities because it was either you were an air traffic controller, you were an engineer, you were a pilot, or you are a cabin crew member. However, now we are seeing various professions at play within the aviation industry. And it's about us developing that, identifying the talent first of all, and then also developing that talent, ensuring that through the training that they receive, they are competent to be able to perform the skills that are required to ensure safety, because aviation is about safety, okay? To ensure that they have the skills or they exhibit the skills which are required within the industry. And so I believe that there's definitely a gap. However, by strategically thinking and putting in place policies, okay, and implementing certain strategies, we'll be able to, in the future, we'll be able to curb this problem that we've identified, or this challenge that we've identified, by taking action now. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Alisa. I'll take the last question to Madam Fafali. I like the Fafali, not the Maui. Yes, and then I'll come to the audience if you have any comment or any question you can ask the panelists. I want you to share with us a success story of Fafali and how we can replicate that story in Ghana. Thank you.
So when I started, there weren't many access to airplanes. Is this working? When I started, I felt there were not enough airplanes that are accessible to everyone. And obviously I was lucky that I was able to find an airfield where there were small airplanes where I wanted to start from. And that gave me the opportunity. But moving on, in this country, in Ghana for instance, there aren't many aircraft that people can start learning to fly on. And I think the lowest stage you can start is on Cessnas. But even Cessnas, in the UK for instance, there are so many routes before you get to the Cessna level. We have what we call foot launch, we have hang gliders, we have paragliders, we have
regular gliders, then we have motor gliders, we even have SSDRs, which are single-seat deregulated airplanes, ones where the regulations are not so tedious that anybody can literally go there, and it's called entry-level aviation. Now, from that, you go to what we call civilized microlights, where there are doors and you get into an airplane, and it is cold in other countries, unlike Ghana where it's hot all year round. Other countries have what we call the 4 seasons. So each season comes with different opportunities and what you can and can't do. Now in Ghana here, we're very blessed that 365 days of the year, we have sunlight. Even if it's the raining season, a bit of sun still peers through and we can do certain things. I learned to fly here originally in Ghana, but it was on a small aircraft, and unfortunately that company no longer works in Ghana here. But moving on to the UK, those opportunities were there. But then, although the opportunities were there, there weren't any purposely for training, like the grassroots that people can affordably do. And if I were to mention to you that people can get a license from anywhere from £5,000, which is about 20-something thousand Ghana cedi or 50,000 Ghana cedi, it's still quite a lot of money for the average person who isn't got that money to hand. So talking about Hafali aircraft, from the get-go, it's an aircraft that we want to make affordable and robust, easy to learn to fly on, easy for farmers to be able to use to oversee their farm crops and animals, and at the same time, an option that allows the slightly affordable or a bit more upmarket that you need a bit more money to be able to use it for the likes of surveillance, and if it comes to LIDAR or LIDAR, if you would, it's a bit more upmarket. But there is the option there from grassroots to the high level end to, let's say, monitoring certain things with certain devices on board, that if we talk about green aviation, for instance, there are equipments we can put there to aid certain things. Now, with that being said, it's important that for our Fafali aircraft, it's not just going to be outside the country, something that our own people in Ghana can't access. So, moving on from that, we are actually looking at the option, talking to the government, GCAs, for instance, the Ghana Airport Company Limited are all going to be pioneers and partners, because nobody can do it on their own. And I always say to people, there's no such thing as self-made. We've all needed somebody along the way. We've needed a teacher, we've needed a doctor, we've even needed a farmer 3 times a day, otherwise we have no food to eat. So therefore, it's going to take all of us working together in order to reach that common goal. But with the start, we want to bring Fafali aircraft into Ghana, but we want to provide training for people to be able to work on it, like you guys talk about curriculum mapping to industry. That is really, really crucial, because other parts of the world, in Europe, America, elsewhere, that is the key nowadays. If you don't map your curriculum to what's out there in industry, which is a big issue we even face in the UK, that I'll take Lenny, for instance, the young lady sitting over there. She went through college to do her engineering level 3 MVQ in mechanical engineering and manufacturing. But until we went to speak in her school, she didn't realize that the opportunities were out there on her doorstep that she could tap into. So that whole collaboration between academia and industry is the key to what we want to achieve. So please, Ghanaians, be reassured that Fafali aircraft, we are coming to make sure it's something that you can tap into. If you come from, even if it's just JHS or SHS, or if you go to further education or university, there is a route for everyone. There is a space for everyone. We want to create that training center that allows our people to be able to build, maintain, and fly airplanes that are made here in country.
All right, thank you very much. I'll come back to my panelists for their final words, a minute each. But before I do that, the floor is now open for comments or questions from you. So you're welcome. So I'll take 3 each. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Samson Asake Awengo. I'm the Executive Secretary to Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. And probably maybe tomorrow I'll be speaking. I think your team have done a good job. And they've opened our eyes. What I want to propose is that we should take this conversation above here. And I'm sure we have a media houses here. They should be interested on the conversation. I think we have bloggers here. They should be interested on the conversation. Multimedia, media general, and despite media and others, they should be able to engage you people as professionals to come and open that. Because I am a maritime by training. And I can tell you, until I get to the industry 11 years ago, those who were there never opened it up to Ghanaians to understand that in the maritime domain, there is a lot opportunities there. So it was just in our blessed father in his blessed memory, Azuma Banda and others, and we know all what we know, they were money people. But they didn't let us understand that there's opportunity. In fact, in the Regional Maritime University, we trained seafarers there. We trained cadets there. Is that not it? Yet, we train fabricators there, electrical engineers there, to go on board the vessel or to even go in when they're building up a new vessel. But, hey, ask me, do we have a vessel that they are using it to simulate? We need to buy a vessel. Same thing as the aviation industry. And so I think that it's good that you guys have gone far and you are coming back. It's not just about academia coming out with curriculums with industry players alone. But they should also make it a concerted effort to reach out to professionals like you to even come to the campuses to mentor the students, let them understand the practicality, and as well as attaching the student compulsory to go. And industry should also open. In Ghana here, we now have, thankfully, we used to have only Kotoka Airport, isn't it? Now we have Tamale, we have Sunyani, we have Takorari, we have Kumasi, we have where again? Wa, and I think Bolga is Upper East coming. That's why I'm coming. Normally I fly to Tamale before I have to go for another like 3 hours or 2.5 hours, depending on which vehicle you are using to Bolga. So, absolutely. So the opportunity is there, even here, right here. And I'm happy that our Fafali is also bringing Fafali Air, and then, or is it aviation or air? What is the company? Aircraft. To also support in that industry. So it will dawn on all of us. We will go. I will be an ambassador to go and advocate that at least governments should take this as a priority. Minister of Transport should take this as a priority. Minister of Education should take this as a priority. Then the VCs, the vice chancellors of the universities and now we have a technical university, no more polytechnics, where engineering is going on, should also come for you people to come. How much would they pay you as a resource person to come a day and they can talk to your management? They'll release you to come and then motivate the students, let them understand the thing. So I think that should be the way, so that we know there's opportunities in the industry. Not that we are in our own country and the foreigners are overtaken everywhere. You go to Tamaport right now. If a vessel arrives right now, you will see the crew. If they are 11 or if they are 13 or if they are 18 in the vessel, you will see that about 10 of them will be Filipinos. I told them the last time we were celebrating IMO Day, Ghana Maritime Day. I said it. If you go to Filipino, they don't have vessels, but they deliberately train seafarers. You go to UK as you are coming from, you will see nurses there. Many of them are Filipinos, isn't it? So they train both nurses and seafarers and export them, and they are bringing proceeds back, remittances back. So I tell you, I think we need to take this conversation far from here. Thank you very much.
Please, may I elaborate on what he's just said there? So in the UK, for instance, there is something we call Careers Day. Careers Day is open to industry, where industry can go and put up stands and schools come over and talk to industry to see what opportunities might be there for them, which route, what subjects should they choose, especially for their GCSEs. And now, on our level here in Ghana, maybe the JHS level or the SHS level, on what they can choose to do when they go on in order to weave their way into those sort of industry. And these kids get to talk to people, real people from the industry, not someone they're just watching on TV, not just someone that they can just read on paper to say they have made it, but they can actually go there and talk to the physical people to talk to them about what their job entails. And this is something we do every year in the UK, that you would get to talk to the kids. Sometimes we take airplanes, they can feel and see all the different parts of airplanes, get to see how airplanes fly, the forces, the internal combustion of an engine. And these all start from this very basic level. And then the schools realize that actually this is helping their numbers, the recruitment, people are coming more and more. So this is perhaps something we can adopt here in Ghana. I'm not quite sure who is in this room that has got the power to talk to the Ministry of Education, for instance, and say, hey, we've heard something during the transport fair to say there is Careers Day. Can we adopt this Careers Day for our young people? Because I'm sorry, since when I came back to Ghana, I was surprised about how everyone is so intellectual in the sense that they all have telephones. There is not even, I think the society is becoming more and more cashless. If you think about it, people are, I think they are sending money through their phones. I don't even know what they call it anymore. But Momo, okay, and this is working. So if our people can do this small, literally small tasks that involve some sort of intellect, it means they've got the capability with a bit of exposure and infrastructure. It means everyone has got the brain and is capable of doing it. So if we can create that platform and encourage our young people to talk to industry and talk to the likes of yourselves at ATC, and we can all make it happen. It's not just a job for one person. Anybody who has got that power, and I always say, no one is self-made. Someone has helped you along the way to get to where you are. You need to carry on that baton and help other people along the way. So career mapping and talking to industry, role models are so limited nowadays. We all go to school in Ghana, we want to become somebody. However, to become that somebody, you need to see someone who is achieved for you to look up to them. Because you don't want to aspire to something you can't see and you can't touch. You can only aspire to what you can physically see and touch and talk to. And that's where it has to start, role models.
Thank you very much. I wish Ghana Education Service was here because we do have Career Day. But what the kids do is just wear the uniform and go and play.
Okay. I would like to first commend the moderator and his panelists. In fact, I'm very impressed with their performance. But I want to ask a direct question concerning the skills gap, the opportunities within the industry. So practically, if let's say one of our, and secondly, I'm very impressed to see more ladies, because I now begin to reorient my mind towards the development of more females. If a female lady goes through the system, let's say she gets some school outside the country, maybe Ethiopia, where the aviation sector is developing, she goes to do is it aircraft engineering or something concerning ATC or something related to engineering. Excuse me to say, as she comes to Ghana, is there an opportunity for her to get employed within a year, 2 years or something? Is that, how practical is that? That's my simple question. Thank you very much.
I'll give that question to Mr. Piaget. Okay, Papa, you can start.
Do you want me to start?
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, I like talking. There are a lot of opportunities out there. And my slogan I always say to young people is the only person standing in the way of your achievement is yourself. And if you want to see that person who can empower you, I urge you to look in a mirror. And what you see in the mirror is what's stopping you achieving. And the difference between success and failure is purely down to hard work and determination. Okay? There are so many opportunities out there. However, when it comes to females, and myself, I'll use myself as an example. A woman can see a job advertised, and please correct me if I'm wrong. a lady will see a job advertised. If she is not 99% sure she can do the job, she's not going to apply. That same job, a male will see that job advertised. If they are 40% sure they can do it, they're having it. And this is why I think our problems are coming from. So the job opportunities that are out there, as the ladies, we are scared because we think we are not 100% sure we're going to do that job well. Therefore, we're not applying for them. And I can tell you that is not a good thing. Okay? And I come from a place now where I can actually stand proudly and say that if you see a job advertised and you think this is something I've studied in school, don't be afraid to go forward and go do that job, because you can do it and do it even better than somebody or a male who thinks they are 40% sure they can do the job. And please, the males in the room, I'm very grateful you are here, even though the topic is more or less for aimed at women. I want you to take it upon yourself that I can pull along another lady with me to come along and achieve. If you are good at something, don't think it's just for you. Please encourage other women or other counterparts to take that job up. So the job opportunities are there. If somebody's gone abroad and learned something, actually that's a good credibility, that's a good kudos that you have behind you to bring proudly into our country here and ask for the job. Remember, the job is not going to come to you on a silver platter. You have to go out there and get it. And when you go, do it justice. Don't be shy, don't be timid. Go get it, because it's waiting for you. And if you don't make that effort to grab it, then it will go past you. Sometimes opportunities come once in a lifetime. And if you don't grab hold of it whilst it's there, then you're going to lose it. But then again, if you have that opportunity as well to get a job abroad and get a bit of skill set underneath you, that will also create more job openings for you, that when you come to Ghana with that experience, you can go somewhere and say, hey, look, I studied abroad, I got a bit of experience from abroad, now I'm here, this is my CV, this is what I've achieved, this is my experience. Please, do you think there's a place for me? But also, don't be scared to get a job elsewhere, abroad as well. And then when you've done it and you think you are a person of your own capability, you can also bring it back to Ghana and try to help our people. And that's how I think it works. Because sometimes we're here and we are so restricted and we are so in our own bubble that we don't want to go out there and see what's out in the world. The world is open for you. We used to say the sky is your limit. Nowadays, I think space is no longer the limit. You have to make it possible. Don't wait for someone to give it to you.
Thank you very much. Let me answer you this way. And I think that you were trying to be specific with Ghana. I think that the biggest employer is the government, which has to do with the agency under the Ministry of Transport, let's say Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. What I have seen in Ghana is that we do not have many private aviation institutions, not necessarily training, but that offer job openings. And I'm sure that with time, probably the coming on board of the national airline could also resolve some of these issues, because if you have a national airline, what it means is that you would acquire aircraft, and once you have the fleet of aircraft, you are going to keep them in the hangar. They will have to be maintained and all that. So all these people who probably may have gone outside to do aircraft engineering or maintenance probably will also have a job, will have opportunity to apply to Ghana, whatever, national airline or something of that sort, because you cannot have it without having a maintenance, repair and overhaul facility. You need to have, which we call the MRO. You need to have that MRO set up in order that you can employ some of these people to perform the job. My advice, and I know that it was just for example, you cited Ethiopia and all that. If you are thinking of probably having a training in aircraft or some other aviation related program outside, you need to do a targeted place, because you cannot just go and have it in any other country and think that when you finish, you are going to have a job. There are places that when you have such training, automatically you know that you would certainly obtain a job and acquire experience, and then if you decide to come back to the country, you can come and contribute effectively. I will tell you, when I schooled in France, Toulouse is an aviation hub. The jobs are there. So in a class of 33, only 3 of us returned to our country. So myself, I came back to Ghana. The other guy from Central America, Honduras, went back. And then there was also another African from Senegal. He was in the Air Force and had been sponsored by the Senegalese Air Force, so he had to go back. The rest of the 30 students that I was in class with, all of them got absorbed even before we completed. Myself, I also got a job, but I needed to come back, so I came back. Where I had my internship, they offered me the opportunity to stay. So you need to know where you have to go and do specific course, so that when you graduate, there will be opportunity for you to even start practicing over there before you get back to start thinking, because of the truth, the industry is not booming in Ghana as it is in some other countries. That's the fact. And I'm sure it's also as a result of a lack of national carrier. If we have a national carrier, I'm sure when we had the Ghana Airways, the industry was booming in this country. So certainly, and then we also need to provide some kind of incentives to most of these private investors in order they can invest more into it. So here we are just thinking of only commercial aircraft. Elsewhere, helicopter business is huge over there, that people easily find jobs and all that. It's not just becoming a maintenance personnel, but also you can become a compliance officer. Even though you have gone to do the aircraft maintenance engineer, you can become a compliance officer and all that, because outside there, you are trained in all rounds. I was trained in compliance and regulations as well, even though I did air navigation, engineering operations, and all that. But I had that background, I had that training too as well. And let me just add a top up to what the first speaker said. You see, when we talk about the alignment of industry and the academia, it's important, because when in my aerodynamics class in France, apart from the main professor who was teaching us, I had 2 visiting lecturers from the industry, one from the Airbus and one from Boeing. So you can imagine eventually what I went through. You understand? So you have all these people coming to teach me, and I appreciate it. That's why I said that at the end of the day, when I went to do my internship, it was exactly the same thing that I had done, because the perspective from the industry was incorporated in that kind of training. So yes, it may not be booming here, but when you are selecting which country you have to go and do aviation course, be specific and be intentional about it, and know that when you go here, when you finish, you would be able to obtain some kind of job there and all that. And I tell you, if you go to France to do aviation course, I'm not sure you will come back. Truth. The industry is booming over there, and they need a lot more people, a lot more skilled people, and they also trust their institutions that the kind of products that they churn out are actually products that have the requisite skills to meet the standards that they require. Thank you.
So yes. Thank you very much. And I think, yes, to answer your question, there are opportunities available. And I think a platform like this creates the awareness that is needed. The awareness aspect is what is lacking, because the opportunities may exist, but people might not be privileged to it. And so we have certain career day awareness programs, as you mentioned. We have the Girls in Aviation Day, actually, which exposes young girls, to the aviation industry. We bring role models in the industry, professionals, and they have the chance to interact with them on a personal level. Besides that, we take them to the operational environment. And so if it's the Air Traffic Control Center or the tower, we take them to the training academy. We have engineers, pilots who also coordinate and take them on board the aircraft. And that then exposes them to the live environment. It will also build an interest factor in them, and it creates the awareness that is needed. Now, as air traffic controllers, we also have our professional association, which is called GATSCA, the Ghana Air Traffic Controllers Association. And the International Day of the Air Traffic Controller we just celebrated was on the 20th of October. It's a global event. And as part of outreach programs that we do on that particular day, we do an open day because the Air Traffic Control Center in Tawa is a restricted area. And so you do not have the opportunity to just walk in there and say, oh, we want to see what you do here. So we open up on that day, we collaborate with schools, we invite certain schools to come, and we expose them to the environment. Okay, some of these children have never even been to the airport before. So we target certain schools who ordinarily would not have had the opportunity. And this program is rolled out across the country. It's not just in Accra. We rolled it out in all the airports as well, Tamale, Inwa. And we partnered with one of the airlines, Passion Airlines. They were able to give rides to some of these children in Wa. So you can imagine how thrilled they were, not only hearing about it, but being exposed to that environment. And I think that also the internship programs, not just, again, aligning the curriculum, but after that, also providing the opportunity for these children whilst they're in the institutions to come and perform internship programs and attachments in the organization, because that also builds their awareness, and then it gives them the practical aspect of the training that they would require. And so I think that there are opportunities. The Girls in Aviation Day is a yearly event which happens, and it's actually coming up shortly. So there are some. We need a much more national drive to push the awareness of aviation to say that, look, there are opportunities, and it's a dual responsibility. So it's not just on government or the organizations to push the drive, but I think that for us as individuals as well, learning has become a lot more simpler nowadays as compared to back in the days, because you have the world's global resources right on your cell phone in the comfort of your home. You don't have to walk. Some of us had to do to the libraries to go and, research and get information. You can do it there. So it's being intentional, both from an individual's perspective as well as from industry's perspective. And together, collaborating together, partnering together, we can definitely achieve the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alisa. Before I pass on to the next question, just to emphasize, Mr. Piaget mentioned the national airline that is coming up as a ministry. He mentioned the MRO. It's not just a talk. It's something that we are pursuing as a ministry to revive the old airport and turn it into an aviation training academy where you have pilots and then flight attendants being trained there. And then the MRO he mentioned, I mean, in the car industry, it's like a fitting shop, okay? But in the aviation space, this is like a service or a facility that sort of service aircraft. So for aircraft that do their major C checks, this can be done at the whole airport when that facility is put in place. So it's also another job opportunity once the facility come on board. So just to emphasize what Mr. Apiaje said. Who do we have?
Hello.
Okay.
Hello? Yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah. Good morning or good afternoon. My name is Patrick Ayumo from the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. I was a bit alarmed by the figures mentioned by Engineer PAJ in terms of the
skills gap.
Yeah, skills gap, and then the job deficiency projected by IQ. So I wanted to find out, now there's AI, and AI is becoming very intrusive in virtually every job sphere. Engineer, do you see AI worsening the situation you just painted? Or do you think that because the aviation industry is highly regulated, it is very unlikely that a lot of you will become redundant because of AI? Thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, there's no way that the human can be taken away from the aviation value chain. The human will always be placed at the center of it. And so whether AI or no AI, certainly AI would complement the job tax in terms of some aspect of maintenance, and but AI will not replace the human. That, for example, when you have excuse me, Madam Alisa, sitting behind the console and controlling an aircraft, and you are asking AI to do that, that certainly you can understand the disaster that may happen. In fact, when we talk about AI, the AI doesn't just exist on its own. It is operated by human beings. So it's human beings, all the algorithm and those things are done by human beings. So certainly there would be human. But what is important and also a bit alarming nowadays, you see, in the industry, it's all about regulations. And you have very voluminous regulations. So when you take one regulation, very huge, you are reading. Young people these days are not interested in reading that voluminous document. And so that's the problem. That's the problem. So it scares them away. And they are not able to now get themselves involved in that because they have AI and then quickly they just want to get onto their computer and then go. If we can be able to, and I'm talking about the international body, be able to get these documents into some kind of, I think I mentioned earlier on, the Chinese man will say that all the 1,000 words, I will just use one symbol to represent it. If we can get that done in that way, or can get AI to, let's say, be able to summarize all of these huge, voluminous documents into something simple for our young ones to now assimilate, that would help us a lot. Then you get them attracted into the industry. To tell you the truth, probably because it's not that booming in this country. But elsewhere in Europe, in America, in fact, there's shortage of personnel. In Asia, there's shortage of skills personnel in the industry, and that's problematic. So going into the future, it's going to get worse by the forecast that ICAO, and I asked you to read the ICAO document 9956. When you pick that document, you find all this data there clearly. So it's quite a bit alarming, and that's why we are having this program, to get the young ones interested in aviation aviation-related jobs, so that at least we can close that kind of gap. It's also the reason why ICAO has, and Alisa mentioned it, the Next Generation Aviation Professional, NGAP. They had a summit in South Africa somewhere in August to ensure that they can be able to attract, train, and retain some of these professionals going into the future. There are young ones here. Please come on board. Exactly. You will not be frustrated. The aviation industry is very good, and I won't say lucrative, but at least you'll be better off joining the industry, and then get yourself trained, and then I'm sure that you would find it very interesting, especially coming on board. Thank you very much.
Very well said that, but may I take the opportunity to add a little something? When it comes to artificial intelligence, it's zooming up on all of us. And it's at every corner of the world, not just Ghana. Take UK, for instance. You don't go to the filling station to buy fuel and you have somebody help you fuel it up. You go there and you put your own fuel into your own car. You control how much fuel you put in your car. When it comes to certain things, there are certain skilled jobs that AI isn't able to do. And if you take a good look at some of the AI things that crops up on your phone, for instance, Some of them are very distinctive and you can tell they are AI, right? Others you can't. There are jobs that we are talking about that AIs cannot do. There is a place for everything. I wouldn't feel too alarmed by AI, especially in Ghana. We are a little bit behind the rest of the world when it comes to technology and how things are evolving. Okay, it's evolving at a pace that we think is fast, but you want to go out to the world out there. It's even quicker. In fact, there are offices that are called the Rapid Capability Office. These are people who are designated to keep an eye on how quickly technology is evolving to try and find innovative ways of making AI work and integrate it into our society. For instance, I heard the speakers downstairs talking about autonomous vehicles. Look, in Ghana, I'll just be honest with you. For me, what you are seeing in my palm is what you're seeing. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and I'm not going to cover it up in wrapper and make it look pretty. The reality is, we are not anywhere near autonomous vehicles. If you get into a taxi and you are being driven somewhere, that taxi driver, his eyes are peeled because the road conditions we have here and the signage is not upmarket that, just follow anyway. Sometimes the human being has to think ahead of time to see where he wants to weave his way to get you into a place you are getting to in a timely manner. So first of all, please, don't be alarmed. We are a long way yet to AIs coming and threatening our jobs. I don't think you have anything at all to be scared of. It put a big smile on my face when we went to get fuel into the car and there is still a human being that you can interact with to put fuel in your car. That is just a beautiful thing. I get fed up sometimes in the UK when you make a phone call, it's all autonomous. The AI is trying to listen to keywords that trigger a response to give you direction as to what you want to do. Here in Ghana, we're very lucky. You go to a hospital, you can talk to a real human being. That human being can actually see your face and feel the pain you're going through. AI isn't quite able to see that facial recognition and see that the severity of what you are asking for, they can do something about it. They are following a script that a human being or a programmer is put in the system to try and guide them to give you back a response. So for us in Ghana here, I think we are a long way away from feeling that AI is going to threaten our jobs. They can't yet, not unless our roads are better, not unless our infrastructure is better, that they can come in and be able to understand the layout of our roads and systems in order to take those jobs. So for me, in my opinion, please don't be alarmed at all. And the beauty of our education system here in Ghana, do you know there are countries out there who do not teach cursive writing or handwriting anymore like we do in Ghana? I was shocked to America in 2014, and I was there having to write people's names because they no longer teach join-up writing in school. So these are some skill sets that we have here that we must learn to cherish and appreciate that we still have. I'm in the United Kingdom, and my colleague Lainey will tell you, I'm teaching people how to speak English. And I'm not even kidding you. Okay, I'm not talking about broken English, but not Creole or anything, but you know what I'm talking about. I didn't in my wildest dream think I'll be in the United Kingdom and be teaching English people to speak English. Because Ghana gained independence in 1957. That's when we came out of the control of the colonial masters. And we were colonized by the British, right? And we learn in school here, and I finished school in 2007 here at UCROSEC in Manya Krobo, or Yilo Krobo. What we learned there in school was aligned with what was being taught in school in the UK in the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s. Therefore, I'm so up to speed with what they've learned. I'm able to use terms that the today generation or the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas don't know. Even most of the millennials don't even know those things I'm using. We have the privilege. We are being taught good things in schools here. Let us appreciate and cherish those things we are being taught and take them seriously. Because I tell you what, when I went to the UK, apart from the fact that I had to redo a lot of my aviation tests, everything I learned was it was the same terminology. And in aviation, we say there's only one language, and that language is English. We all speak in English in aviation, apart from when you go to certain places like Toulouse and the Bavarians in the likes of Germany, where they have their local airfields that they speak local language. Internationally, the communication language in aviation is English. So provided you are up to speed, and in Ghana here we have the beautiful thing of dictionaries, and we still use dictionaries, don't we? Unlike the Western world where everyone is on TikTok and on their phone, I still appreciate looking at a book because the AIs are actually deceiving us. If you were to ask your phone right now to tell you something, okay, there's a snippet of the information that the AI gives you that is accurate. The rest of the time, you need to have a rough idea of what you are asking the AI. Otherwise, you're going to be misled. So AI is good in certain applications, like for instance, the robot systems that sweep the floors and certain things, or mowing the lawn. They are okay. But there are certain skilled jobs out there that the AI cannot do. So please, let us not be threatened. AI isn't going to take our jobs.
Thank you very much, Madam Fafali. Any more questions? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon. And thank you very much for this opportunity. I think all along what we are talking about, I can see a theme of the relationship between the industry and the academic institutions. But for us, we also know what we call the triple helix, which brings in the government. And thankfully, this program is being organized by a government. Okay? So after this program, please, we are coming from Takwa. We are doing logistics and transport. And when you heard this is the main reason why we came. We've seen that you talk about the concept of local content and all those things. There are students who even want to go and do attachment in local industries which are denied. Surprisingly, there are these international organizations that give them, the opportunities to go and do them. We went to one of the industries to do this industrial kind of thing that we are talking about. And the white man who is after sales support manager, we were talking about this and he just came in. And he said that, oh, can I have the opportunity to come and talk to your people in school? That is what we were doing. But prior to that, we've been doing it. There are some people who have opened their doors. So we have people from procurement officers from Burkina Faso, which we do on Zoom. And they've given us those opportunities. So all that I'm saying is that with the government there, after this program, let's have a desk in the transport, ministry, which will coordinate these activities. Next year, I don't know if you are going to do it. We will have to look at it if we didn't just come to talk about it, but we are going to implement it. And please, those of you here, right from here, we are coming to you. So please, when we come, all that we have said, please try and do that. But I think Mr. Aringobit, he said something, that if they can give you something, but one good thing is that we should know that we are building a nation, and we are going to depend on each other. And I think the point he made about the aircraft, I remember at a certain point in time, I was in Summerboy, and there was a serious accident. It was a small aircraft that came in and took the person, because that place is a remote area where you can't bring in those big aircraft and all those, and it helped. And we must encourage that particular one. Okay, so the point I'm making is that, please, when we come to you, let's try and give our students the opportunity. Now we are going sustainability. There are instances, even in industrial attachment letters, you have to know somebody within. Are we building a nation, or we are building a certain kind of system where you must know somebody? He mentioned Asuma Banda. I did my industrial attachment in Tema. I walked into the office, and the deputy HR, just gave me the opportunity, and I was happy. And that's how I learned all these things. So when I go to the institution like UMAT, that is what we are all championing. And please, let us not end this thing here. That is the point that I'm making. So we will be coming to you, all of you. Next year by this time, please, let's make sure we've made progress and not just talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Your point is well noted. Any more questions? I can see a hand here.
Okay, mine is not more of like a question, but it's more of like a suggestion from a point of view. So, per my experience, I've come to realize that. Okay, I've come to realize that there are a lot of people, right? Me saying people, there are a lot of youth who are more interested in joining the aviation industry with regards to piloting. for instance, I literally wanted, okay, let me say, I'm a pilot myself. And starting up, I was making research and going about, and I came to realize there's this myth circulating, piloting, you becoming a pilot, saying that you should have a science background before you become a pilot. And no, it's something I've realized. It's something that is there. But me entering into it, I was like, hey, no, I don't have any science-related background. But I entered and I realized it's something that is trying to like withdraw people from entering into it. So I think we should try and find a way to clear that myth circulating that the field of piloting, because it's really making people withdraw. Because talking to people, I realize there are a lot of people who are more interested, but the moment I tell them that, oh, I'm a pilot, and they'll be like, first question, are you a science student? I smile and I'm like, no, I'm not a science student. So they're like, how then do you find yourself becoming a pilot? I'm like, it's like we going to school from scratch. You being taught how to read and write. It's literally the same thing, the same procedure, the same way it's being done. So I think you guys should try and take it upon yourself to like clear that myth behind becoming a pilot and having a science background before you be able to become a pilot and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you've made a very valid point, and my colleague here, Raj, can associate with that because he has a best friend who didn't do science but currently studying and to become a pilot.
Thank you very much for making the point about the myth going on about in order to become a pilot, you have to be a science student. Do you guys want to know what I studied in school? So I studied home economics. But when I did home economics, I'm not... That's another myth about home economics. People think here in Ghana that if you studied home economics, you are just literally going to end up in the kitchen. Okay, in some ways it's not too wrong if you do not want to go on to do something other than just cooking. The whole studying I did, I don't think I cooked more than a week in a school. In my home economics class, I don't know what the curriculum is nowadays for home economics, but I studied my core math, English, science, but then I did management in living, I did clothing textiles, I also did physics, and I did biology as well, elective, and a bit of chemistry. Why? Because those things were important when it comes to cooking. It's not just the actual cooking. It is the science behind cooking. That's where the science comes in. But the actual home economics, the actual cooking, that is a skill set, or that's the art. But behind it is the science. Do you need science in order to fly an aeroplane? Actually, yes, you just don't realize it's science. Because sometimes in school, the way we represent some of these subjects is why people have that perception. In flying, why do we need science? We need to understand the weather formation, the effect of the atmosphere on the human body when you're flying. That's where the science comes in. Because if you don't actually understand that the higher you go, the atmosphere is different. Understanding the international standard atmosphere, which is where the science comes in, then that's why the myth is going on. So it shouldn't be a generalization. It's not on which it's based. I say to people, in order to fly a plane, you need math, you need English, because you need to communicate, and you need, for the math expert, you need to be able to calculate your bearings and your time, speed, and distance, stuff like that. That's where the math comes in, and calculating, mental arithmetic to be able to calculate certain things if, push comes to shove. Now, the English you need because it's the international language for pilots. There's something we call plain speak. So you can actually communicate on the radio. So for instance, if Alisa is in the tower and you have a problem in the aircraft, you need to be able to tell Alisa, this is the problem happening, but you need to be able to articulate it in a way that Lisa can understand. And that's where the English language comes in. So you can't speak broken English on the radio to Alisa because she won't understand you. She needs a definitive and clear communication, what we call plain speak, in order to guide you. If you are lost, for instance, there are pilots we call tyros. Pilots that are inexperienced when they're flying and they maybe perhaps panic and pilots don't like to admit they are lost. We like to say we are temporarily unaware of our position. Okay? And in order for Alisa to help you, you've got to be able to articulate to her where you are, where you're going, what your intentions are, in order for her to help you. And that's where the English language comes into play. The science aspect is about understanding how the environment works and how your body reacts. So knowing that if you are at sea level and your pressure setting perhaps is at 1013.5, just for the sake of argument, hectopascals, you need to know that when you go for every 1,000 feet you climb, the temperature is going to change by roughly 1.8 or 2 degrees, if for the sake of argument. And these different calculations that you are doing, some of them are science. And knowing that when you go higher above a certain altitude, your body is going to be struggling. And that struggling is lack of oxygen, and that's what we call hypoxia, and that's science. So sometimes the science we are talking about here doesn't mean you literally need to bury your head into the science book to understand the nitty-gritty of it. We're talking about the surface level science, if that makes sense. The basic that you need to understand what's going on, or what you need to understand on how the effect on your body is going to be. So that means, I don't think it's altogether wrong. It's how we put it across. We just need the basic science we are talking about here. So don't worry. If I can do it, so can you. I studied home economics, so if you study anything else, you can do it. And aviation is one of those core sectors where everything you learn in school can be encompassed into it. Every single subject you learn in school, you can find in aviation, because it's not just piloting, it's not just engineering. You have somebody who is doing the structural analysis, the load master, even the honey dipper. The honey dipper is the person who empties the toilet on board the airplanes. All of those things are important. So don't you dare think whatever I'm learning in school is not going to come to play when it comes to aviation. There is somewhere for everyone. And like I said at the beginning, for every hour flight that the Charlie 130 Hercules does, there is about 60 related jobs. 1 hour. So you think about it, there's so much out there in aviation. It's not just the core flying outs we are talking about. There are so many other jobs you can do. There are caterers there are clothing people who sew the uniform, for instance, for Alisa to wear to be on the radio. Somebody does that. There is somebody else who is calculating how much aircraft fuel do we need to put in the airplane in order to allow a certain flight to take on. So if you think about it in a holistic manner, there is so many jobs opportunities in aviation, not necessarily just being a pilot or being an engineer. There is so many other avenues. So please don't be afraid. There is so many opportunities out there in aviation.
Thank you very much, Madam Fafali. I think...
Let me just make some one point. I can understand what you are saying and where you are coming from, where they say you need to have a science background to be able to become a pilot. You see, it is all about the pathways. There's no one pathway in becoming a pilot. So if you choose the academia pathway, you are likely to be told that. There are other competent training institutions that also have that pathway in becoming a pilot. So like what she went through, there's no way. So for example, I was in a school and a high school, and then the student was choosing the subjects that he wanted to do. And then the academic office asked him, what do you want to become in future? And the student said, I want to be a pilot. Then straight away said, okay, then you need to do geography, you need to do maths, you need to do this. That is in the academic area. But if you choose to go into a training institution that says that I'm training people, I'm a flight academy, and I'm a flight institution, training people to become pilots. You don't need all those things, because when you go in there, you can go in there with whatever background that you want, or whatever background that you have. However, you would be taught through the rudiments of becoming a pilot. These days in the cockpit, you have the flight management system, so everything is by instruments. And so most of these calculations are already pre-calculated. And so depending on whatever you see, you are trained to read the instruments. And so you have your pointers that is directing you which path to choose, and then which path not to choose, whether you have to go up or not to go up with the support of Alisa and her team. I mean, you would be able to fly the aircraft to the destination perfectly. So if you are, for example, you want to go into the university and say you want to study, you want to become a pilot, certainly you are going to do what we call you are going into the aeronautics, and you will require a certain background to be able to get admission. And that is that path. But if you don't have that background, it doesn't mean that the road is closed. There's another path for you, and you can choose that path and then get your license and then become the pilot that you want to become. So that is what we need to understand. You have the academic path, which is there, and then you have the competency-based path. It's a framework that most institutions or most training organizations tend to choose. And then, for example, in GATA, I don't need that kind of background that you are talking about, because I know I offer competency-based training. So I train you to have the requisite skills to fit or to meet the standards that the industry is requiring. So once I'm able to offer you that, you obtain the skills. And that's why I said that, for example, to become a flight dispatcher, you can choose to go through the academia level, or you can choose to come through GATA and then have your training. I need you to be 21 years old, and I don't need any other thing. Whether you are a cook or you are selling the market or whatever it is, I need you to be 21 years old, and then I'll give you that kind of training which will make you the ground pilot that you would. And from there on, if you then choose to become a pilot, you can go through a piloting program and then become a pilot. You see, so that's what we need to understand. And it is the reason why earlier on I stated that the collaboration and strategic partnership between the industry and academia is key in this process. Look, where's the gentleman from Takwa? The UMAT wanted to run some aerospace program, and then they designed their curricula, but thankfully enough, they brought it to us. And my boss gave it to me to look through and see how. And after we had done all that and sent it back, we didn't hear from UMAT again. Whether they are even running the program or not running the program, that's it. And that's the way it is. So if we can create that partnership, it would help the nation, and it will help the young ones, which we refer to as the next generation of aviation professionals. You may not necessarily come into the aviation field, but with your skills, you can also go veer into some other area that you can utilize your skills and work professionally and fit into the industry. So by and large, that's the contribution that I wanted to make in that. Maybe I'll...
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I also
yes, go ahead.
add on? I think my two panelists have said much. And just to the gentleman, thank you very much for that point that you raised. On a personal level, dealing with children, okay, who are interested in a career in aviation through my mentorship or through inspiring them, this point has come up quite a lot, where a lot of people were discouraged even before trying for the fact that they were not science-based students. And so I'm now speaking with respect to air traffic control, because I believe that they've touched on the aspects of piloting. With air traffic control, you need a strong maths background. That is the truth of the matter. And so whether you did science, whether you did arts subjects, okay, as long as you have mathematics, that is one of the requirements, as well as the STEM subjects, okay, which is your science, technology, engineering, and then the mathematics. So when you speak to some of these children, the first question they will ask is that, oh, I'm not a science student, and therefore, is there a place in aviation for me? And earlier on, I spoke about certain stereotypes which were created in our industry, and that is also one of them. Yes, you may not be able to become an air traffic controller because you had not done mathematics or you don't have a mathematics background, which is a requirement. So we need to also know what are the requirements for the career path that you want to take, all right? And it doesn't mean that there's no place for you. Like we've said, there are different career opportunities. Now you have human resource consultants, you have the legal route that you can take, you have the aviation medical examiners, all right? And also cleaners, secretaries, we have administration, and we have the technical aspect of aviation. And so just for the fact that you did not do science and therefore you feel that you are limited in joining the industry is one of the stereotypes that we use these platforms to try and, as much as possible, to clear and encourage and say that there's a place for everybody. It's about you finding out what is your interest. Because the truth of the matter is that the job demands hard work. You know, a lot of hard work and sacrifice, you are going to have to do it. And it's better when you find a career choice that you enjoy doing. There was a friend of mine who says that he's a pilot, and he says that, what could be better than getting to fly as my career and getting paid for it? So for him, he has the opportunity to do his hobby, okay, and it's still his profession. And that is key, the passion aspect and the interest aspect. I've touched a lot about it this morning because it's very key, it's the starting point, all right? So there are vast opportunities available. Look within within that space of opportunities and see what really you can relate to, what really you have an interest for. And I'll say go for it, go for it. So we use these platforms and the interaction sessions that we have to try and demystify and to remove these stereotypes that existed before. All right, so thank you.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I'll take your final words. I'll start with Madam Mauli, and then Mr. Piaget, then you take the last bit.
So last words. Remember, the only person standing in the way of you achieving is yourself. Don't sit at home and think the job is going to come to you. You need to go and look for the job. And when you get the job, like Alisa just said, everything requires hard work. You can't go there and sleep on the job. You actually need to do the job. And along the way, don't forget to encourage some other person as well. Don't just be selfish. If you have the opportunity and there is the room for somebody else to join you, drag them along. Because if you go alone, although you will travel further and faster, if you pull somebody along, you are creating unity, you are creating strength. And that's what it needs to be. One person alone cannot do the job. It will take all of us. And it starts with one person. Pull somebody else along and make sure they achieve along the way. Don't be selfish. Because in Ghana, there is that spirit of pull him or her down. Don't do pull him or her down. If somebody else is capable, create that opportunity for them to come behind. Because I'm selfish, and I like to say I like people to go into work. Because one day when I get old and I can't earn money, I want somebody else coming from behind to pay my pension. And that is the only reason why I do it and encourage other people, because I'm selfish. I want you to pay my pension when I can no longer earn money. And that's what I want you to do. But please remember, this is our nation. We are responsible for making it great. And the way we can make our nation great is by hard work, is by determination and unity. So let us all pull together to make it a better nation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The air transport industry is growing and expanding. And what it means is that there is going to be more opportunities for skilled personnel, young ones, and people who probably may have attained certain ages. What is required is that we need to train more people in order that they can acquire those skills to be able to fit to the ever-expanding industry that we have. I would want to urge the young ones who are here that I will not be there forever. Certainly, I would exit at certain point. But you would have the opportunity to also step into where we have gotten to. And so don't be discouraged. Continue in your steadfast to ensure that you acquire that skills. If you have to tap into some scholarship, do that. And I can tell you, let me give you what I did when I was going to France. I realized I needed scholarship to back up, so I wrote to the French embassy, and I gave them all the various scenarios, what the opportunity of obtaining scholarship to go for that course would do for the Ghana aviation industry. And I got some bit of scholarship from there. In France too, there were other aviation industries that have put up a scholarship scheme for people who would want to tap into those things. I applied for those ones and I got the scholarships too. So there are scholarship opportunities out there. Please don't limit yourself. It is so huge. Go in for some of these scholarships and train yourself, acquire the skills, and come back and join us to make the aviation better in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this opportunity again. And I think that the aviation industry is a very dynamic industry, and it's growing at a very fast pace. We've discussed a lot of issues this morning, and it's good to be strategic and to have plans. We also need to ensure that we act now to ensure that we have the requisite skills and knowledge and human capital that will be necessary for us to cause transformation in the aviation industry in Ghana, in our nation, in the future to come. And so each and every one of us has a responsibility. Not everybody is here. You're privileged to be here and to hear this word. Please spread the word. Tell somebody about what you've learned. I'm sure that you've picked up something new this morning that you didn't previously know before. And I like the point about touching somebody else. Give back. That's what we do. We didn't just get here all of a sudden where we are today. It's been a long journey, and it's because people have given us opportunities. They've encouraged us along the way. There have been days where you thought to yourself, okay, this is too much. Should I give up now? But there was that push from somebody behind who held your hand, not just standing in the corner telling you, oh, you can do it. Actually held our hands and encouraged us that don't worry, you can make it. And I think the key is never give up. And so sometimes plans don't work according to how we expect them to. My message this morning is that don't give up. We want to see more of you in the aviation industry. I'm very biased towards aviation, and I don't hide it at all. It's a wonderful industry to be in, and there's definitely a contribution that you can make towards growing aviation in our nation and building a better nation for not just us, but our children and future generations. So the work doesn't stop here. We march on, we soldier on, and thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So at this point, I want to thank my panelists for sharing your thoughts and making time to educate us on the aviation ecosystem and then the job available to all of us. And for the audience, I want to thank you for your time. And I believe that you'll be living here as the next generation of aviation professionals. Thank you very much. Please, I hear there are some students here who are going on a tour. if you are here, I hear the bus is ready to take you to UPSC. Okay, so all UPSC students. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Group picture.
Hello, please, it's a boat ride, and if anyone wants to join, they can just go downstairs. There's a desk downstairs registering people who wants to go for the tour.
Hello, good afternoon. Please, DVLA is around. We're on the right wing. Anyone who wants to access services with DVLA, we are available for you. Just right at the right wing of this building, upstairs here. DVLA is around, so please visit our booth. Thank you.